Let's just go right into the Word tonight. Let's go to Hebrews. We're in the book of Hebrews. I'm going to be going probably verse by verse. We basically did chapter 1 and verses 1 through 4 on chapter 2. And we saw in chapter 1 how he said that he has spoken to us in these last days by Jesus. He was in the Old Testament, he was speaking by the prophets. But now he's speaking to us by his Son. Do you realize that Jesus is the final word? Jesus is the final word. He is it. There's not anything else to look for. God is speaking to us through his Son. Why don't you just say that out loud? Say, God is speaking to us through his Son. So, and then we note that he talks about him being appointed heir of all things, by whom he also made the world. So Jesus is the maker of the world. He is the heir of everything. He is upholding all things by the word of his power. That's chapter 1, verse 3. And by himself he has purged our sins. And then he makes the distinction between Jesus being the Son of God in distinction from angelic beings. And the reason that, and I believe Paul is the writer of this, he may not have penned it with his physical hand, but I think someone took what he said and wrote it down. But he makes a distinction between angels and himself. And I believe the reason that he does that is that there was probably teaching going on that Jesus was an angelic being. If you know anything about Mormonism, you know that they believe that Jesus and Satan were actually brothers. That they were brothers and Satan went the wrong way. Well, the Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible teaches that Satan was a created being and that Jesus is and he was. He is in the beginning and he was the Word and he is the Word. So he has no beginning nor ending. And it says he has a more excellent name than they. But to which of the angels did he ever say, "You're my son"? And that God is their Father. He even says in verse 6, "Let the angels of God worship him." Now this is review. Let the angels of God worship him. So the distinction between angels and Jesus is that angels are worshiping Jesus. Jesus isn't worshiping angels. They are worshiping him. And he says to the Son, look at verse 8 of chapter 1. And to the Son he says, "Your throne, O God." Now that is a statement about Jesus. Your throne, O God. So Jesus is deity, isn't he? Your throne, oh, say that out loud. Say, "Your throne, O God." Okay.